Welcome to episode 99 of the current Backloggers. I'm your host, KCP, on with my good friend co-host, Cody G. The date is April 17th. No Raw Dog and Ryan today.
Nope,
Just us two.
just us two. I
What are you
miss him.
doing? What are you doing over there?
I bought these games. I never do that. This is a new thing for me. I
Uh-huh.
never. Then I realized, I never check the disc because it's the place I buy them from. They always tape the cases shut. I was like, kind of dumb of me not to check, but
You only got a couple of those. Didn't take long.
that's right, dude. I'm on the last three here. Um, just little spoilers for the pickup portion, which I'm just doing games this week. I took the toys out because that would have been
Too
a
many?
little crazy. Yeah.
Well, it'd be the perfect week to do it because Ryan's not here. He gets pretty upset.
Yeah. So, um, for the sake of the audience, I figured probably not. Oh, nice. We are 2 minutes into this. Already got cat butthole.
Oh, it's like an earthquake before it hit, too.
Um, so you got two more games. I mean, they all look. Man, these are really minty. Newark has become my place for collecting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude, it's kind of shocking how many good places they have there. Um, Buckeye Flea Market and Maxine's Bargain, which I've been going to Maxine's probably, man, close to 8 years now. Well, I say that like I go every week, but it had been a long time since I've been there, and my friend lives there. So we'll just go hang out with him. We just go run around all these places. And it's been quite the honey hole for me. Um, but in regards to toys, yeah, Maxine, some guy traded in. He had a complete collection of Skeleton Warriors, so I bought a lot of those. They had already taken to convention, and I had bought like kind of some of the scraps. But, a lot of wrestling figures mostly, and NECA some NECA figures. Walmart has been having clearance, so if you guys like figures, Walmart seems to either be clearing their shelves or getting rid of the collectible figures or something. Find them really cheap.
Maybe it's better to hold off. Maybe you should wait for the toys until Ryan. Have a build up of like 2 months.
uh, but yeah, a nice stack of video games for us to go over.
I got you. Yeah, that's a decent amount there.
Oh yeah, this is good. Some hiding behind here too. Here, I can stack them all up so you can see the full.
God.
The looming tower.
Been up to anything else besides collecting games?
We went and saw Tom Green. Besides that, no,
No.
just collecting stuff.
Yeah, Tom Green was excellent. Way better than I thought it'd be. And a super fun time. Then afterwards, we went to IHOP for their maple syrup Pepsi.
That's right.
And then they were short staffed, so they had to close the building. But then we got some maple syrup Pepsi for free.
That's right, dude. Initially, I was like, "Whoa, this is weird." Because the lady was nice enough, she felt bad
Mm-hmm.
for us, and I still thought it was like an internet meme, like an April Fool's thing. But because we didn't see any signs in there of, I was gonna get my Sonic themed meal with my maple syrup Pepsi, but I couldn't. But the manager was incredibly nice, and she
Yeah.
gave us free pop for having to kick us out. And yeah, initially I didn't. I was like, "Well, really took me back." When I stopped and thought about it, it was almost like a butterscotch flavor to it. I wouldn't buy a 12 pack of it, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a Pepsi fan. I thought it was better than regular Pepsi for me, but definitely not something I could drink regularly. I have like here and there. I didn't
Yeah,
finish the one I had.
yeah. I feel like you almost breakfast food would be perfect for it. I feel like IHOP is the place for it.
Might just be overload again. Like the breakfast food is usually more syrupy and sugary than regular food.
What if
Added
what if
that
you
on top
just
of it.
What if you just got a fat stack of pancakes, and then while the waiter's still there, you just poured your Pepsi all over it?
And
Be a
just
good
act
prank video.
naive. You just thought it was maple syrup.
No, just be like, just or roll the pancakes up into like a tube, and then just slosh it into the
Uh,
cup. Just be really ridiculous about it.
Pancakes already are kind of gross when you let them sit in syrup for too long, let alone doing that.
Um, Sorry, the cat just jumped on the table that's covered my new acquisitions. Sounded like stuff was falling down.
Oh shit. Yeah, there was signs, but only for the Sonic meals like you talked about, which were fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I forget the names. I can
Yeah,
look
the
up the
only one
names
I
if you wanted to.
remember was the knuckle chicken sandwich.
Okay, here we go. Um, oh man, the website's loading here. You don't remember Sonic's Blue Blur special? Double the blueberries for double the speed. Asked to try them with blueberry syrup. Um, what about Dr. Eggman's Benedict or Amy's Sweet Strawberry Delight? That one, I don't like that one. Or Shadow's Chaos Chocolate Pancakes, which is what I was gonna get. I was gonna get the Shadow's Chaos Chocolate Pancakes with a large maple syrup Pepsi.
Yeah, see, I feel like breakfast is the worst thing for this. That sounds so fucking sweet. Oh Jesus.
What have you been up to?
Well, we also did the solar eclipse at your house,
Oh yeah,
which was fucking awesome. I'm really glad we could do that. It was a perfect day for it. Uh, I was never seen one in my life. It was really cool. It's weird though how it messed with your mind. I'm like, man. As soon as it was over, I just wanted to see it again and started thinking about like a movie or anything else, like just being able to do it again, and then remembering how rare they are, and that's not just something that you can see again. It just happens so naturally. That made me kind of trick my mind into thinking it was just something we could do again.
yeah.
But that's what makes it so cool.
I didn't know what to expect. Um, I didn't know if it was gonna be pitch black or
Mm-hmm.
how dark it was gonna be, but it was kind of like a. I think Ryan had mentioned it was like a sunset all around. Like every horizon was a sunset, and then
Yeah,
it became like 9:30 is the only thing I could describe. Like it wasn't like 9:30 in a big city. Like there was some light pollution or something. Like it wasn't as dark as I thought it would be.
yeah, it was really cool though because it was a relatively warm day, and then as soon as that happened, it felt actually cold out, and it was super sunny right before that, and then relatively dark, and then super sunny again. And also just hearing all the noises of the animals reacting to it, and everything just seems it's very cool but very off-putting.
Yeah, very apocalyptic or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Um. Besides that, I've been up to a decent amount because we didn't do a show last week, so there's more than normal, kind of for everything. So hope you're ready. Um, sports, I'll just touch on going to the games because we finally started our sports podcast back up. Pigskin over pizza, me and Cal. So I go more into detail in the games there. So now I have a place I'm not rambling about sports here. But went to a Reds game in Cincinnati. They lost sadly. But we went to CC's before that. Yeah, always a great time and also a perfect weather day for baseball. Went to two Jackets games, including the season finale last night. Um, I went over to our other friend Cody's house for a game night. It was kind of just like board games, not video games. But haven't seen him much lately, so it was cool doing that. I put this in the wrong one. Went to a Fury game as well. The have you had Burger King's newest item? The
No,
cotton candy icy. Fucking awesome.
it is okay.
Yeah. Make sure you you order it with the cloud on top, as they call it.
Uh-huh.
I think it's whipped cream, and I usually don't. I'm not grossed out by whipped cream. I just don't prefer it on milkshakes or anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of places charge extra for it, so for me to get it when I don't care for it. But they charge almost $1 extra for it, which is fucking nuts. But it actually makes it, I think, a lot better. So, cotton candy icy with the cloud. It came out on the 11th. I think I've already got it like 6 times. Good shit.
It's almost one a day.
Yeah.
Is that what that is one a day, isn't it?
Yeah, I had 2 of them in one day, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, maybe if we hang out Monday, we can get one.
Oh, I'd be down for that. Um, Besides that, just normal work, physical therapy. Well, besides a few days ago, because I haven't been working, because I had more mouth work done, and it kind of ironically messed up my back. Not terribly. I can still do like normal activities,
Yeah.
but I'm not supposed to be doing heavy lifting or stuff. So been out of work for a bit, so I had more time for games and shit.
What
But
just 'cause like sitting on the chair for so long or something?
no, they hit a nerve, and I kicked my leg up in the air, and
Mm,
when it did it, then it messed with my back.
dang man.
Yeah, the last thing I would
But
have thought would cause that.
I bet have you had any mouth swelling? 'Cause I bet that cotton candy icy.
Yeah, uh huh.
There you go.
I mean, I use that excuse. I'm sure I would have got a lot without that, but that's definitely
Next
amplified it.
next time you go, you should see if they'll blend up some pain pills in there for you too. You could just bring your prescription. Like, hey, you put a little bit of this in there for me?
Burger King probably one of the more likely fast food places to do that. So that's coming from
Just
somebody that just advertised Burger King.
just as long as they could take a couple out.
Yeah.
As long as they get a sip.
I think that's all I've been up to though, besides stuff that would come up regularly in the show. Anything you want to talk about from the weeks before?
No, no.
No. I just have 2 things. I didn't mention it. I forgot. I would have said it in front of Ryan, but we were supposed to do the orange dreamsicle frosty and let you guys know how it is, but Ryan didn't want to film it for some reason, so we didn't do that. But that's something I've had probably 15 times since it came out, so I like that a lot as well. I'm gonna be sad because I know it's a limited time thing and it'll be gone, so try and take advantage of it while it's there. And then a story that you'll appreciate. A couple weeks ago, well, actually before New York, I was gonna get my hair cut, just like the dead ends and cleaned up and everything. And I'll call them out on here. I usually go to Blue Star Barber Shop, which they always do really well. It's the same girl I go to there. She's super nice, and I've gone to her for like 2 years, and she was booked. So I scheduled with somebody else there, which I already questioned. I was like, I want to get it done before we go. And then they were sick, so I couldn't go there at all. So I tried to find somewhere else. I know Great Clips is obvious like go to for everybody, but besides that one that me and you used to go to, they're you hear terrible things about it, and I haven't had great experiences. So I was like, I don't want to do that. So I went to a place called Lady Jane's, which
Oh,
you know about it.
yeah, I got a story for you about that place as well.
2 other people have when I said that. I went there like 10 years ago, and it wasn't bad.
Let me make sure. This is the one on Hamilton Road, right?
Yeah, that's one I went to.
Yeah, I got craziest one of the craziest haircut stories I've ever had happen there. So
I have my craziest. It's not that it's the craziest haircut story, but for me, it definitely is. And like I said, I went there probably like 10 years ago. I don't remember anything bad. And I also was trying not to go somewhere really cheap on purpose, so they would hopefully do a better job.
yeah.
And this place charged like $45, so not cheap.
Whoa.
Um, and I went there, and also for context on their website, they make it like every barber is a attractive young girl. And I
Yeah,
went
it's
in
a
there.
lot of old men coming in there too.
Yeah. Well, that'd be more fitting for what was there, because I walked in and there was a girl probably in her 50s that looked pretty run down. And she's like, "How's it going, baby?" Good. How you doing? And she's like, "I'm doing good." And she's like, "We're there's also nobody else in there, just her." And she's like, "We're taking turns cutting today, so I'm gonna text her. She's out back, and it's her turn to cut." Oh, okay. And then I sat there for like 5 minutes. And, I'm gonna go check on her, sweetie. I don't know what she's doing. And um, then she went out back, and she, like, all right, I just told her she'll be in here in just, and it was at least 5 more minutes even after she went outside. And then this girl came in that was definitely at least in her 40s, maybe higher, and looked like straight white trash and appeared to be drunk. But I didn't want to be too judgy. I was like, maybe she's just um, a little trashy, but nothing actually wrong with her. So I was like, I don't want to be that guy. So just judge it based off of that. But I definitely should have. Um, so I sat down and she went, "So what can I do for you, sweetie?" And she put the apron around me. And I was like, I'm just trying to get my dead ends cut off. I'm trying to keep as much length as I can. And then just like the facial hair, which I also told her this up front, the other girl. Um, I was like, in my facial hair, I'm just trying to get cleaned up and trimmed a little. And they also do, that's part of what they do there. I know some haircut places just do heads and not facial stuff at all. But that's part of what they do, so they're known for it. And um, I sat down, she did that. And then anybody that knows me well knows I don't shower often. But I intentionally showered the day before that and the day of, and I also brushed through my hair for like an hour because my hair is so curly, and everybody that cuts my hair complains about it. So it was pretty well tamed, relative, and sat down. She like, told her what I wanted, and then she started spraying the bottle on me, but just absolutely just draining it and just spraying it all over. Even though, like I said, it was pretty well tamed, so it would be understandable if I had walked in like how I normally am. But it was pretty managed before that. And then she's like, "So what did you want done?" I was like, "What?" We just went over this, and I was like, just like as little hairs you can take off and cut the dead ends. So you just want like some length off?" And I was like, yeah, like as little as possible though. Okay, I'll try. And then she's spraying, just continually spraying the whole time, and it's going straight through the apron and just absolutely covering me. And there's so much of it that I was literally shaking as she was cutting my hair because it was so freezing. And then she went, "So is this good, sweetie?" About halfway through, and took off like that much hair, like a solid inch. And I was like, yeah. So, well, I can't really put that on. We're too far gone now. And that's way past dead hands, but all right. And then he finished that, took off the apron. She, "Oh, babe, I got you all wet." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's all right." "Oh no, I feel bad. I can blow dry you if you want, honey." I was like, "Oh no, I'm good." "No, please let me." I was like, "Can you imagine how long I'll be sitting here while you fucking blow dry me?" And I was like, "No, that's okay, but can I just get my facial hair lined up and trimmed a little?" What do you mean? What do you want done? But, just like cleaned up, like straightened up, and then a little length. And she, "So you just want like some length off?" "Yeah, sure."
She
And
just
then
starts spraying your face with water.
and then she just started doing some styling on my facial hair that looked absolutely terrible. And then when I got in the car, I realized she didn't even touch my neckline. So I just had like the hair that goes like that's flat on your neck all down my neck still, but more hair gone, so it's just showing. I was like, I didn't. If I would have thought about it when I was in there, I don't even know if I would have asked her because it was such a train wreck.
Yeah, those are that place is awesome. I was just trying to find the reviews, standard stuff like you were just explaining, but I have a feeling we had the same lady. I don't know how long ago this was. This was maybe um 2.5 years ago when I went there for the last time. Um, that yeah, that's essentially what you described to the lady is what I'd gotten. But halfway through my haircut, I noticed like the scissors stopped moving. I think,
Uh,
or it just had gotten quiet. Like she was cutting behind me, gotten quiet, and I'm pretty sure she nodded off. Like like a heroin or pill nod, and then it was too long, like, for her to be, like, thinking, like, "Okay, where should I cut next?" Or it was way too long, it was just a real pause, and, yeah, she got dead quiet, and then I just realized, like, I think she just nodded off. Um, yeah, so, I mean, essentially, your story is what I had. Um, like, she came out back from smoking, and then yeah, and then all these, like, old men come in, like, "Hey, Bill." Um, yeah, it's really weird, and then she just full blown nodded off at the back of my hair. But yeah, Lady Jane's. If you go read the reviews, looks like we were not the only ones. It sounds like you knew some people that also had some.
Yeah, I told I think 4 people that story, and 3 of them before I said where I went, the way to Jane's, no fucking way.
Oh, yeah, that place is awesome. I wonder if it's the same lady. If we're all just getting the same lady,
Well,
because
when
that
there's
was two and
only
a half years.
yeah, when there's only 2 of them that take turns cutting hair, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, yeah. I tell it. I've told the story a few times. People I know that Lady Jane's lady nodded off on me.
Oh
It's
shit.
like sports themed too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Good times, man.
I couldn't really concentrate on any sports though when I was sitting there soaking wet and freezing and watching my hair get cut off.
Oh man, and just having to repeat yourself too.
Yeah, and yeah, she smoked
Awesome.
beyond smoke. It was so heavy. Definitely the smoke break out back.
Yeah, some of these reviews too were saying that the lady smelled like complete alcohol, and that is awesome, dude.
feel like she would have smelled like alcohol if she didn't smoke so much because it was definitely like she appeared to be drunk, but I thought maybe she was just a little trashy and down on her luck. I don't want to judge off of that, but
Yeah,
don't think that was the case.
yeah. Your adrenaline goes up a little bit when you look at the lady cutting your hair, and she's like it was an awkward long pause. Clearly, just a.
Boo! Drop scissors on your head.
Oh man, or just start spraying her with water.
Oh shit. Oh man. Um. All right. You know any corrections, question, or feedback?
Nope.
Me either. So you can send that to currentbackloggers at gmail.com. And if you want to get into the news, here we can. It.
Yeah. Let me add something here real quick. Oops.
You're reviewing Lady Jane's right now.
How funny would that be? Oh man.
Went for a
Uh,
haircut for here 2 years.
2.5 years ago. Um, I mean, honestly, it's funny, but it's also like really sad because,
Oh yeah.
man,
Yeah, like I said, that's why I didn't want to judge too much, even though it seemed like that. Because yeah, it's already sad if somebody just appears to be that way and they aren't, let alone being that
she's
way.
such a nice lady. She was so nice. It was just pure entertainment. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't care too much about my dad always had this saying about a haircut. What's the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut? And he'd say 2 weeks. Such a dad joke, but
Yeah.
I it's never really bothered me to have a bad haircut.
Yeah,
Especially when you're giving me a free show like that. It's hilarious.
it never has with me. I wasn't like rude to her, like really upset or anything. Just more annoyed, and I was still nice to her. Um, but yeah, you know me. I used to literally shave my head, so normally I could care less. And I even said that when they gave me a bad haircut, I would just shave it. But I think it sucked more just because it's a one time I tried to grow hair, and then to see that much length go off and think about a lot more than 2 weeks to get that back. I was like, God damn it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One time I had a lady ask me if I wanted my neckline rounded or squared, and it's never bothered me. And I don't know, I think she might have been upset at me. I now that looking back on it, I realize she got kind of quiet after this. But she one side was rounded and the other side was squared. I didn't notice it till one of our friends pointed it out to us. I thought that was hilarious too. Like you got so passive aggressive. You're like, oh, you want a surprise? I was like, oh yeah, just surprise me. I don't care. And I think she thought I was being rude. She
Yeah.
gave me both. All right, let's hop in the news here. This first article is from The Verge, um, and it's written by Tom Warren. Microsoft is working on Xbox AI chatbot. Microsoft is currently testing a new AI-powered Xbox chatbot that can be used to automate support tasks. Microsoft is also considering building AI-powered co-pilots for safety and moderation tasks, including content moderation on Xbox platforms and to help with enforcement and appeals processes. Uh, it's not nothing really sticks out here to me. Stuff I figured would be coming, and I feel like the automated messages and AI, there can't be too much difference between the two. But where it scares me is the safety and moderation tasks, including content moderation, and it to help with enforcement and appeals processes. It almost sounds like the sales pitch for RoboCop or something.
Yeah,
And
that's
I could see this going wrong. Or no, you're good. I could see this going going bad and being very dystopian.
yeah, that's the reason I put in. Feel like the more moderation is left up to something that doesn't have a mind, or it's just going to decide things based off of keywords or key actions, which I don't think is a good thing at all.
And how different could that be than something just scanning messages for
Yeah,
what they already have? But the next article, this was 3 days after the previous article, by the way. Xbox executive Kareem Chaudhary is leaving Microsoft after more than 26 years at the company. Windows Central reports that Chaudhary's last day is today, and his departure has triggered a shakeup of some of the teams inside of Xbox. Chaudhary has been focusing on Microsoft AI plan for the Xbox in recent months, which includes the new Xbox AI chatbot. So yeah, 3 days later, the guy that was in charge of it. What if the AI had planted something? There's there's a episode of X Files where the guy creates AI and it's killing people. Um, so maybe that's what this is. It's first the Microsoft's chatbot, Xbox AI chatbot. First thing is to get rid of its creator, and then it's gonna start murdering us.
this guy is left on his own though, right?
Um, I don't know because it says his departure has triggered a shakeup of some teams inside Xbox. So I don't know if it was layoffs or what, but it'd
Yeah, I
be
thought
funny
he
if he
left
came
on.
out and was. It's like it's taking control. I can't control it.
That'd be awesome. I think he left on his own though, especially being there 26 years. Um, that would make it the AI theory even more likely because if you're there 26 years and then that happens as soon as you create that. But I think he
Just
left on
starts
his own. But
texting
yeah, I
him.
guess I don't know. Yeah,
Started texting him, "Hello, father," and just starts sending him photos of his kids and their house. Right. The next um, article is from Idle Sloth, which is a tweet from the a tweet or sorry, and what do you call him now? An X's?
they still
This is
call
an
him.
X's.
They still call it tweet. The only thing that changed was the name. Everything else still tweet. Retweet,
Okay.
which is weird to me.
All right. So this is a tweet on the website X. Idle Sloth. Nate the Hate teases Gear 6. Would be surprised if 2024 came and went without a mention or look at Gear 6. The game will be, quote, "This is what next gen is about." Moment. He says Gear 6 will be much like Gears 1 with the moment on the Xbox 360. Gear 6 is coming out for the Series X/S. It's not that shocking. I figured they'd be making another one. Um, I'm excited to see what it's like, but I feel like I don't know. I want new games from Xbox. Not super in the story anymore. The stories of the games kind of remind me of like how do we revive or how do we keep this series going after the original trilogy? And the stories have not really held up.
Yeah, pretty sure Coalition that does. Gears now. I'm pretty sure they even confirmed Gears 6 quite a long time ago. So yeah, not shocking. I think it'd be surprising if we saw it this year, just because I feel like it's been so long without anything that I don't. I'd be surprised if we saw it this year. The only reason I put this in here was the Nate the Hate, which is a terrible name. They say he's a reliable source that has leaked a lot of stuff like this, so that's the reason I put it in here. It seemed like it was credible. Um, I definitely agree the stories are not as good, but for me, I told you I think the world of Gears is fucking awesome. But I think the story, the way they tell their stories, I always thought was more laughable than um, entertaining to me, or quality to me. It was entertaining, but I always thought it was kind of silly. So Gears for me was always more of a gameplay thing. Like Halo, I definitely care about the lore and the story more, but Gears was always more gameplay focused to me. And I think the gameplay in the last couple have been amazing. The only thing that worries me is, especially the last Gears 5, feel like they were definitely, there was like semi open world parts in it. And my worry is that they were testing for Gear 6. And I feel like Gears shouldn't definitely be a linear game. I feel like the more open it is, the less fun it's been. And I feel like, especially because Gears is so built upon those um, like set piece moments with the monsters and everything, I feel like it's open world. That's a lot harder to script those kind of things. And the open world parts in Gears 5, I think, were easily the weakest parts and very forced and like terrible side missions you had to do. So I really hope
Yeah.
that I'm sure that was they were testing that to do Gear 6, but I hope that that ends up not being what Gear 6 is. I also don't think that he's going to be right. I hope he is, but I don't think this is going to be the equivalent of Gears 1 on Xbox on 360. I feel like that, not even just graphically, which I think is what he's talking about, but gameplay, I think, changed a lot of games for the next 10 years. But graphically, I think was one of the craziest jumps we've seen in gaming history that I don't see Gear 6, especially on the current consoles, which also would seem weird. I think with all the talk of the next gen or the whatever the next step of Xbox is, you think Gears will be on that, not the old console. And if it's on the old console, I don't see any way that it's gonna have that kind of standout.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with it. Agree with you on that.
Hope I'm wrong though, because that'd be awesome. But I find it hard to believe.
Yeah, the open world segments where even like the vehicle traversing and stuff just felt so empty and
Yeah,
weird and just felt like
exactly.
open world for open world sake.
Yeah, exactly how I feel.
The next one is from articles from Windows Central. It's written by Jez Corden. In the email, Sarah Bond reiterated Microsoft's plan to build a new Xbox hardware focused on delivering the biggest technical leap ever in the generation. Sarah Bond also revealed that Microsoft has set up a dedicated team to future-proof our digital Xbox game libraries across future hardware paradigms to further build on Xbox's strong history of delivering backward capability. So essentially, she just announced that they have a team set up to continue preserving digital games, which is I think that's great. That seems to be a big focus on Xbox for a minute now. I wish they would have done more to preserve the 360 games. I mean, even the ones that we're losing now, there's still a lot of indie games and smaller games that have been gone for years that were on the thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see what all they preserve, and hopefully it's a big focus on 360 games.
Yeah, I mainly put this one here for you. I know you prefer physical games, but obviously digital is here as well, and I think long term is going to be it, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I thought this is a good step, and yeah, Xbox. It doesn't seem like they're just doing it reactionary. I feel like they've definitely been the at the charge of this as far as the top three companies, and it does suck that you said like the 360 and the stuff you're losing, but I feel like the faster you act on it, the better it's going to be for everything going forward. You can only change the past so much. But like Nintendo and PlayStation, I feel like you see how bad it is for them, especially Nintendo. You're just rebuying every game, and instead of actually fixing it for the future, you just keep doing it.
Um, yeah. And then the next article from Tech for Gamers, from an Evan Nash. I just am destroying these names today. Evan Nash just Sirianni? I don't know. Also, what a 2005 name for a website, by the way. Tech for Gamers. Oh, did you see the new article on Tech for Gamers?
Yeah, I totally agree, and I thought it was clickbait, but I started seeing it more regularly and having stories that become true and reliable. So, a terrible name, but they seem somewhat trustworthy.
Following July 29th, 2024, Xbox 360 users will lose the ability to purchase games on the console's digital platform. This would mean that any digital game that are not backwards compatible with the new Xbox One consoles will be lost forever.
I know you talked about
Um,
this a couple weeks ago, but the more we mention it, the better it is. And I don't know if you said the exact date or not. You might have, but figured the more we say it, the better it be.
yeah, yeah. I think I've bought all the games that went on there. There's some Bubble Bobble games that I'll probably pick up, but besides that, I think I've bought what I want off of there before it shuts down. Um, Sad to see. I wish they'd have done more to preserve it, especially some of the indie titles. Like my friend I go see in Newark, Will, he was big into the 360 indie games, and some of the games he would tell me about just sound awesome. Most of them have moved over to Steam, so they're
Yeah,
not lost forever. But I would like to play them on the 360 and get achievements and stuff.
yeah, I got you. When I kind of lost my train of thought when I was talking about Nintendo and PlayStation when they explained it well, because you were smiling so big. Were you smiling about something?
Just the review that I also had read.
I had a
Um,
feeling, so that's what I was asking. So you didn't feel like you had to force it in there.
no, Casey, I inserted one of the reviews from this place. I wish you could have put the picture in here. I wish we could show him the photo of the guy. Is this the
Oh,
one where the
that.
dude had the photo? Yeah, if you look up Lady Jane's, um, on
I must
Hamilton
have.
Road.
You mean his profile picture?
Let me go see. So I switched it to the lowest score, and
Oh
it's by
no.
Matthew Woodland.
Yeah, this is a different
Worst
one. I see it now.
worst cut I've had. Went in for a trim, and the stylist cut more than I wanted off. Also cut too far into the hairline, and the photo's awesome. You can tell this dad was. This is like a boomer dad. He was mad. His back hairline's way up in the air.
Yeah, it
Um,
does look terrible.
um, I would also venture to say I'm starting to question how clean her razors were too, because it looks like he's got some infections going on there as well. Wow, poor guy. And it's very red and inflamed, and there's like white heads, and it clearly in areas where she cut too. Like he doesn't have those little red bumps. This might be our thumbnail. Dude, this is
If you rather
oh
just read his, did you read his whole review or just part of it?
that was his whole one. But Casey says if you want to waste your money and time, go there. Literally saw me wait for them to come at the register, but they talk for 10 minutes before coming to me. After that cut my hair wrong. After that cut my hair wrong, made the back of my neck red as hell. Yeah, I don't think they're cleaning their stuff because I'm seeing that pop up a lot too. That's disgusting. Dude, oh man. This was a good one too. Horrible. The lady smelled like stale cigarettes, rushed through my haircut. I only went here because my regular place was closed and I had to go to my regular shop the next day and basically shave my entire head to fix the damage. I paid for the haircut, beard trim, and eyebrows. Not one thing was done right. I didn't say anything and reluctantly left a tip. However, the lady who cut my hair literally ran outside to smoke a cigarette right before she started working on me. It was definitely a trashy experience. I felt bad because I'm sure some other ladies performed the job well. However, this woman did not. It would be awesome if this is just one lady creating all this chaos. It's a rash of hairline infections. Um, but yeah, that's awesome. All right. Next article is from Eurogamer. Ed Nightingale. Microsoft is limiting Xbox Game Pass subscription extensions in certain countries to deter players from stacking their memberships at a cheaper rate. Using digital codes or gift cards, Game Pass subscriptions can be extended to a maximum of 36 months to ensure players are covered without needing to pay each month. Which I never took advantage of this. I know you and I think Derek did. I wish I would have. Um, but yeah, it makes sense. You got makes sense they cut down on this stuff. It was almost unbelievable when it was happening initially.
Yeah, it was unbelievable it was happening. I thought it was definitely too good to be true, but it sucks that they are cracking down on it now. It's definitely um, not in America, but I feel like they're doing it in smaller markets to bring it to America. So you still can do it here, but I think that's seems very clear that they're doing it in smaller markets to open it up to the bigger markets. I
Yeah, and
imagine.
the article talks about conversion rates. People just get accounts for other countries that have good conversion rates, and I know people have done that for the Switch a lot. All right, next article is from Game Informer. Gearbox suffers employee layoffs following Embracer sale. This is written by Marcus Stewart. See, why can't all of them have normal names like this? That's so easy to pronounce. Marcus Stewart. Um, Last week, Embracer Group announced it was selling Gearbox software to Grand Theft Auto publisher Take-Two for $460 million. Hours after the sale, some Gearbox employees announced on social media they had been let go from the company. Today, Gearbox has confirmed these departures. In a statement to Eurogamer, Gearbox states that an unknown number of employees have been let go. Those affected are not tied to the development of upcoming games. Yeah, it sounds like um, 2K bought them. It's 2K, right?
Yeah, we'll take two, but yeah,
Take Two, that's right.
overarching.
Bought them, and I don't know, it's clearly trimming some fat since it's not related to any sort of games. So
Yeah, the next
wonder.
one is more layoffs from Take Two, so I don't know if that combines Gearbox or if that's separate.
Yeah, surprised we're not hearing. Well, I guess I'll read this next one, then I'll mention that. This is from Reuters. I couldn't find an author on this. There was like 4 people mentioned. I don't know what exactly that was, but April 16th, Reuters. Take-Two Interactive Software opens a new tab. Will lay off about 5% of its workforce, or around 600 employees. The publisher of the Grand Theft Auto franchise said on Tuesday, as the video game industry extends to more than 2-year-long job cuts. The company will also scrap several projects in development as part of the cost reduction plan, which is expected to result in total charges of up to $200 million. It declined to name the projects that had been canceled. So yeah, maybe it's just overarching. Clearly, there's been more people because it says they had canceled some games as well, more than just what they had laid off at Embracer or Gearbox.
Yeah. I feel like I say this every time when there's these massive companies, but it's so crazy seeing that many employees and being let go and the actual percentage it is. Like you said, around 600 employees, which is about 5% of the workforce. Fucking insane.
So what would that mean? There's it'd be 1,200 times 10 then, right? Yeah. So 12,000 people. That's crazy.
Yeah. Insane to see these come so massive like that.
I like how I was trying not to embarrass myself by speaking out loud, but my delayed response from me just confirming that was somehow more embarrassing.
We can edit it so it's instant. Damn.
um. All right. So this is from Kotaku, which this is probably my favorite article they've ever written. I don't read a lot of their stuff, but it's usually like baity stuff. But this was actually a really interesting article. It's probably my favorite article you have in here too. Um, so this is written by Zach Zweinzens. That's a lot of Z's in your name, sir. Uh, 3 Z's. There should be a limit on how many Z's you're allowed in your name. 60% of playtime in 2023 went to 6-year-old or older games. New data shows. So 60% of the playtime of people in video games were played in 6-year-old games or older. That's such a weird phrasing, but I don't know how she would say that. On April 2nd, Newzoo released its second annual game industry reports, including a ton of data and information on what people were playing and spending money on during 2023. According to Newzoo's data, the PC and game console market grew and reached 93.5 billion in revenue in 2023. That might seem like good news, but drilling down the data, it becomes clear that it's only good news for small number of publishers and developers. And they have the chart from Newzoo here. It's pretty interesting. So the number one game in all four consoles is Fortnite. PC, PS5, Xbox, Switch, and Minecraft. Man, I remember thinking like Microsoft overpaid for Minecraft, but this is just proof that it is still. And it doesn't have a PS5 version, so that's probably why it's not in that chart.
Yeah, definitely.
Switch, it's 5. Xbox is 4. PC is 3. Roblox is 2 and PC. I mean, Roblox is way up there as well. I'm trying to see if there's any here that's like interesting or mind, but I mean, it's like stereotypical stuff you would expect. Yeah, but this is more from the article. To further prove that the gamers are primarily focused on older games, Newzoo's data shows that just 66 titles accounted for 80% of all playtime in 2023, and 60% of that playtime was spent in games that are 6 years or old or older. In fact, in 2023, 5 old games, Fortnite, Roblox, League of Legends, Minecraft, and GTA 5 accounted for 27% of all the playtime of the year. It gets worse. Of the 23% of playtime spent in 2023 in new games defined as 2 years or younger, more than half was spent in the big annual sequels like Madden or NBA Game. Or NBA Game, that's not... I copy and pasted from the article. Only 8% of the games... let me start this over. This threw me for a loop. More than half was spent in big annual sequels like the latest Madden or NBA 2. Is it 2K?
Yeah.
Only 8% of video games playtime was spent on new, non-annual titles like Diablo or Baldur's Gate. So that's crazy, man. That means only 8% of the video games played in 2023 were non-annual games that are new. That is crazy when you hear about the production or the cost of these games, what it costs to bring them to market.
Yeah, which I think that's something we talked about, that definitely the skyrocketing production of games is a big reason for layoffs and for games having to sell an insane amount. But I think definitely something that doesn't get talked about enough, and we talked about a little bit, is that so many people play games now just hunker down on one or a handful of games at most, which is what this data clearly shows, and to an extreme amount. That I feel like even if you get the budget way down on games, besides if you hit like the next game we're going to talk about, like Power World or something like that, unless you're the next hit, it's still really probably not going to matter for you.
Yeah.
Which I think sucks.
Yeah. Which kind of explains why these companies want one of... We see a lot of aspects of these top 10 games in single-player games that we don't like, or now understand why they do it. When you're fighting over 8% of people's time, you want one of these top 10 games. All right, the next article is from IGN, written by Wesley Yinpool. Power World developers Pocket Pair has shown off upcoming PvP mode for the POWs set to hit the game at some point in 2024. Announced during the Triple I initiative, POW Arena lets players battle against other players by pitting both of themselves and their POWs against them. The idea is you train the strongest POWs and defeat all of your rivals. They released a 15-second trailer. It looks... the copying continues. It looks a lot like Coliseum.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it yet.
Which I guess it's the only way to do it. I think this will be fun. This will be something I will not do because there is a whole crazy process, I'm sure, of breeding the I almost said Pokemon, breeding the pals, and there's gonna be people that's gonna lose their life to this multiplayer, and there's gonna be probably very, very little chance of me winning.
Yeah, I was gonna say I still haven't played the main game, and I don't know if I will, because like I said, once I was so excited when I saw the trailer during, I think it was E3 or whatever, but then as soon as they said it was a survival game and like building up and everything, I was like, oh man, I would have rather like a straight up, you're ripping off Pokemon so much, I wish I could have just went the extra mile and ripped off the whole thing, like the way the game works and everything.
Yeah.
Because I would have been way more interested. So this actually sounds like the most interesting thing they've done to me. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Unless you play the regular game, you're probably already at a huge disadvantage. And then even if you do, there's like another layer on top of that.
Yeah. All right. The next article is from PC Gamer, written by Tyler Wilde. According to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, EA and Motive had planned to remake Dead Space 2, but the project was canceled due to poor sales of the first remake. They were working on Dead Space 2, and they are no longer working on it, said Grubb on today's episode of Game Mess Mornings. It is on the shelf because the first game had lackluster sales, is how it was phrased to me. End of quote. Without specifying exactly what about the claim isn't true, that a Dead Space 2 remake was ever planned at all, or that it was canceled, or that it was canceled due to lackluster Dead Space 1 sales, EA has denied Grubb's assertion. That was crazy to me because I mean that sounds like it was really well done and people really liked it. Um, but if it doesn't sell, they're not going to make it. You know, they're here to make money, not good games, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
They
why.
make good games, but
Yeah,
they want to make money. That's what I mean.
yeah. That's why I'm guessing he's usually pretty reliable, and I feel there has to be something behind this. I doubt he just made it up. And that was my thought too. I don't remember that it's sales on Dead Space, but I'm sure it had a massive budget for how well they redid it. And it's not just like up-res; they redid the whole thing. But I'm sure it wasn't cheap, and so many people not only don't care about single-player games, but especially just a narrative, linear-driven game like that. That I feel like kind of at a disadvantage from the get-go.
Yeah,
Um, so I definitely would like a Dead Space 2 to see what they do with it. I said before, and I will say it again in all fairness, though, that a lot of people liked Dead Space the more it went on, the more they liked it. For me, it's the opposite. I think the mechanics and the shooting definitely got better in the later ones, but I think they definitely became more action games to the point where the third one had co op, which is cool, but the first one is one of the best survival horror games, I think, ever, if not my favorite. And I feel like the more the series went on, the more you definitely lost that and became just a action shooter, which is again probably smart because it probably sold more because that gives her a wider audience, but definitely lost me more.
yeah, I agree with you on that one. I say like I've played the second or third one, but from what I've seen and heard online, that's what it sounds like has happened to it.
Yeah. I think they're definitely still fun, and like I said, I think objectively, I think the mechanics and the shooting are better, but that's not why I played those games necessarily.
Right. Next article is once again from IGN, written once again by Wesley Yin Poole. He's a busy man. Hot on the heels of the release of the well-received Fallout TV show, Bethesda has finally announced release date for the long-awaited Fallout 4 next-gen update. The free upgrade for the post-apocalyptic open-world role-playing game launches April 25th on Xbox and PlayStation 5, includes native applications for the consoles, performance mode, and quality mode settings, as well as stability improvements and fixes. This means the game will be playable up to 60 frames per second and with increased resolution. Yeah, I'm excited for this because I feel like Fallout 3 plays so well on the Series X. Um, and I'm excited to see what they do with Fallout 4. I want to give that game another go, play through, anyways, at some point. So it'd be nice to play the better version.
Yeah, I definitely want to get back to. I played a decent amount of it, but I actually never finished it, and I said I would go back because they announced this, like the article alluded to, forever ago. So I didn't know if it was just not going to happen. I see it's still coming in relatively soon. So I don't know if I'll jump back into it right then, but definitely going to get back to it. And I was not back to it. I'm going to start it over now because it's been so long and different console and everything.
Yeah. Next article is from Engadget, written by Lawrence Bonk. On its face, this sounds. Oh, sorry. So Ubisoft is deleting the crew from players' libraries. So they took the servers offline, and it's an online-only game, so that makes sense why they would take it from someone's library. But essentially, this prevents people from setting up fan-made um, servers. But so the article says, on its face, this sounds pretty bad. People paid for something that was snatched away. However, there's a major caveat. The crew is an online-only racing game, so there really isn't anything to do without the servers. These servers went down April 1st, and the game was delisted from digital storefronts. Also, the move only impacts the original game, The Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest are still both going. When Ubisoft announced the servers would be taken offline, it offered refunds to those who recently purchased the Crew. The game's been around a decade, so this refund likely didn't apply to the vast majority of players. Some of the people said they plan to set up private servers to play the game, an option that is now impossible. Yeah, I think they should have made the Crew free and let people make their own private servers. Um, Even if you don't want to host the Crew, maybe release the files so people could pirate it or get it off of the browser or something like that. Because I hear all the time people setting up private servers for games, but yeah, you need the physical. So that's my biggest issue with this is that they took away from people the ability to even set up private servers. That doesn't affect them in any way.
Yeah, that's about how I feel. The only thing I would add is they've also won the MLS Cup 2 of the last 4 years. So doing that to the Crew's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, dude, that's so messed up, man.
Also, I don't know if I'm a child or what, but hearing you say Lawrence Bonk, that might be the funniest last name I've ever heard.
Bonk. Also, the Crew is a video game, Casey, not the MLS team.
And that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, okay. Something I'll just have to Google that later.
Yeah, please do. Here, I'll do it right now.
Okay.
All right. Pretty sure I've done this, and if you search the Crew, that comes up first, actually. Yeah, there's the game.
That's awesome. All right. The next article is from Video Game Chronicle. It's written by Chris Scullion. Star Wars Outlaws will include a mission at launch, which can only be accessed with a season pass. As detailed on the game's website, the game's season pass will include 2 additional narrative expansions coming after launch, as well as additional cosmetic items. However, it will also include a day 1 exclusive mission with Jabba called Jabba's Gambit. Just as Kay is putting a crew together for the Cantino Bite heist, she receives a job from Jabba the Hutt himself. The mission description reads, "Turns out the ND5 owes Jabba a debt from years ago and has come to collect." Because of the mission season pass exclusivity, players expecting access to every mission on day 1 won't have it with the standard $70 edition of the game. Well, I guess it makes sense when you, you look back at this chart here, and I'm looking here. Does Ubisoft have a game on any of these top 10? Siege, is that them? So it looks like they have Siege. So you got to make your money. Sounds good. Just a heads up, where my producer just came into the studio here and held up a sign that says we're under a tornado watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Well, I
sucks
told you
because
before we started, my lights flickered twice. I haven't seen since then, but this
so
won't
if
ever
this
go up.
cuts out.
Yeah.
This cuts out. Say a little prayer for me. There's probably a tornado. Let's see. That would be really good for the channel, though. Like that might go viral, right? This recording right here is a tornado comes in and takes me out. It'd be good for your channel, Casey.
Yeah, as long as can take both of us out, it'll never go up. Or if
True.
it takes mine out, because then it will still not go up.
I'll reenact it.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. Business wise, I think this makes sense. I'm sure this game's going to be massive, not just with sales, but the scope of it. So I'm sure what you're paying for, it's probably fair money value. But it's still insane to think the article didn't, or the shortened article didn't say it, but it's locked behind a premium $110 version. And it's just insane to think about buying a
yeah,
game triple digits when it's just a single game. Like I said, I'm sure it's fair money value because the expansions sound like they're probably going to be like old expansions where they're like actual hours worth of like a new story. But if they're not, that's going to be even more crazy. If they're just like a lot of expansions now where it's just like a mission or an added thing, that's going to be even more nuts.
yeah. And it's hopefully this isn't the only mission with Java. I feel like that'll really make people mad
Yeah, definitely.
if he's hidden behind that. All right. Next article's from IGN, written by Michael Kripe. Sonic the Hedgehog producer wants the films to become Avenger level events. Cinematic events that bring together some of the franchise's biggest characters. Okay, the quote once to become Avengers level events, that meant something like 5 years ago, but I think it holds too much meaning anymore. Um, but yeah, so I think that's totally fine. I feel like Sonic has a lot of characters you could do that with, and a lot of cool side things. But it's not too many characters where you have 37 TV shows and 12 movies a year coming out.
Yeah.
So I'm totally fine with that.
No, that's what stuck out to me. He didn't even say Marvel movies, he said Avengers, so you would think it means like all the characters coming together in like a massive thing, which I don't think is sustainable. I think the Sonic movies have done way over what people thought they would and have been very successful. So I really hope they're not expecting more than that because I think it's unrealistic. And yeah, they do have a good amount of characters where you can maybe do some spin offs and some interesting things. I think that's about your limit. I think there's really so much you can do with Sonic.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe we could do a TV show on the IHOP meals.
That's
I think that's the next move.
so far the I hope it's better than the trailers look, but so far it's about how the Knuckles Paramount show looks. It doesn't look much better. And Knuckles is my
Um,
favorite Sonic character, so that's extra bad.
yeah, that is. So the next article is relate back to it. I want to start talking about it before even bringing it up.
Yeah.
It's from The Verge by Charles Pullman Moore. Keanu Reeves is voicing Shadow the Hedgehog in the third Sonic movie. The third Sonic movie has already seemed like it was going to kick all kinds of butt by bringing Shadow the Hedgehog into the picture, but Paramount's just upped the ante by adding one of Keanu Reeves to its cast. After the director Jeff Fowler teased that the next Sonic movie would be inspired by Sonic Adventure 2, the Dreamcast game that first introduced Shadow in 2001. I think that's a good fit for Shadow. That makes sense. He's popular. I think his voice will match real well. But I also didn't realize uh, Shadow wasn't introduced till 2001 at the end of the Dreamcast's life.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either until you said it. I That makes sense time wise, but yeah, it is weird to think back on it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with everything you said about Keanu Reeves. I won't lie, when I saw it, I thought it was clickbait and I laughed at it, but then I was like, actually, I feel that would be like a perfect fit. I think it's just funny seeing somebody like him as character like Shadow, but yeah, when you actually think about it, I think it makes total sense.
Yeah. All right. This next website's got a great title as well. Hypebeast.com. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is returning to theaters for its 10th anniversary. Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is returning to theaters in celebration of its 10th anniversary. It's another one of these websites that they had to hype beast. You had to reach a because if you look, he definitely did the whole um um. How many words can I put in this article
Yeah,
here?
uh-huh.
Because it's only two paragraphs here. So, but Variety reports that the sci-fi epic will hit cinemas again, which is funny because most of his article is quoting another article, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Uh, which is basically what I'm doing here, which is ironic, but we're just getting all kinds of meta up in here. Variety reports the sci-fi epic will hit cinemas again on September 27th and will be shown in the filmmaker's preferred format as 70mm IMAX prints, as well on digital screens. Co-producer Warner Bros. Will team up with Paramount for the return of the film. Um, I did not realize, first of all, I did not realize the film is 10 years old. That makes me feel old. Uh, I was not a fan of this movie. I haven't watched it since it came out. I thought it was okay, had some cool aspects, but I don't think it was his best work or some amazing sci-fi film. Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy too, 'cause I don't think many theaters have that 70mm IMAX.
Yeah, definitely not.
So, but there's a really good documentary on YouTube. One of the guys that runs the booths or the projectors for the 70mm. It's very interesting. So good for that guy. So he can keep working.
Um, yeah, I definitely agree about the 10-year thing. That's awful to think about and kind of fitting if you know the movie though. Kind of fits with the
Right.
with that. Have we talked about Interstellar? I don't know if I knew this. I felt like I thought you would have loved Interstellar, and that's one of my favorite movies.
No, we've talked about it before. Initially, I remember us talking about it, and then you and Derek and I also talked about it once, and I was
Huh.
like, yeah, not a huge fan of that. And Derek was so taken back, which is I get it. People love that movie, and I recommend it to people. Like, I had a coworker, she's like, "Yeah, I like sci-fi movies," and like, she likes specifically sci-fi movies that talk about like crazy elements or like weird things that happen on other planets. And I was like, "Have you seen Interstellar?" And she hadn't, so I was like, "You're gonna like it," and I need to give it another shot. I think it's a good movie. It's an okay movie, just not this thing that people seem to really like it, and I'm not one of those people.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's one of the most annoying things when everybody just likes something because they have to. That's things that I don't like that other people do, not because of that, but just not natural for everybody to have the same opinion no matter how good something is. I think it
Yeah.
just surprised me more because I know you like Christopher Nolan a lot. You love Matthew McConaughey, and you like sci-fi. So I would thought this was a layup, and I'm sure you're right that we talked about it. I just don't remember that. And um, I really like Christopher Nolan. I hate Matthew McConaughey, and this is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. And I haven't seen all of Christopher Nolan's movies. I actually thought about going to watch some ones I haven't seen because I do like him so
Yeah.
much. But from what I have seen, the only thing that would maybe be above it for me is The Dark Knight, and that's coming from somebody that loves Batman Begins. I doesn't get near enough love, um, and I think Oppenheimer probably is the one that falls in the category that not as harsh, but that it is for you. I think it's good, but I'm surprised people liked it as much as they did. Um, so I get what you mean, but hey, if you want to give another chance, this seems like the perfect time. That's part of why I put it in here, and like I said, I thought you felt the same as me, is why I also put it in here. So it's funny that it's like the opposite of that. Um, and I know Danielle never saw this movie. I don't know if she would like it. I think it might terrify her, but definitely like to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that stick out to me in that movie. I mean, specifically, yeah, the water planet, without saying too much here,
Yeah.
spoiling stuff. All right, the next article is written by Andrew J. Salazar from discussingfilm.net. Very that's that's not as good as Hypebeast, but that's up there. Tech for Gamers definitely wins on website names though. Um, I have a feeling Tech for Gamers we place should go for like Code Red reviews or something. Um,
It
all
sounds
right,
like
so
that
this is
would have
written
been
by
a top competitor back in the day when me and Derek had Weebox.net.
um, I feel like it could have been a boxing website too. Andrew J. Salazar wrote an article called CinemaCon 2024, Every New Paramount Picture Announcement. And essentially just we put this in there because this list of films. And I did hear about this first one. It's a new installment of the Scary Movie comedy franchise, which I hear they're trying to get a lot of the cast back for. So I thought that was exciting. Um, a live action rated R adaptation of The Last Ronin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This also sounds awesome. I don't know who Damon Chazelle. Who is that? So it's an untitled Damon Chazelle film. Looks like he directed La La Land and Whiplash, maybe, or was he in them?
I think directed.
Screenwriter. Oh, looks like he directed 10 Cloverfield Lane as well, or had done something on there. Let's see. Let's look at his films. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Director? No. Writer? Yes. Producer? No. So he wrote 10 Cloverfield Lane. He directed Whiplash, La La Land, something called First Man, which I never saw, and Babylon, which I never saw.
See La La Land?
No,
I didn't think so.
no, no. Whiplash looks good though. There's some cool scenes in that I've seen on like clips of that. It might be good. Um, it was the Drum movie. It
I didn't see
also turns 10 years old this year. That's crazy. What is this? Okay. So, a G.I. Joe and Transformer crossover film. I thought that was awesome. A Bee Gees biopic directed by Ridley Scott. That also sounds awesome. Star Trek Origins film. Those are always pretty good movies. So, a Running Man remake, the Naked Gun remake starring Liam Neeson. Um, I heard rumors too about Pamela Anderson possibly playing
All that.
the ditzy lady in there, which I thought that was also a good fit. I've never seen any of those though. People always say they're the best comedy ever created, or some of the best, one of the best comedies ever created. I need to watch them. A new original horror film titled Vicious, starring Dakota Fanning. A new musical from South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone with music from Kendrick Lamar and Paul. Oh, what? I combined those two. I was like, what?
That'd be dope.
Hold up. The next movie. Well, first of all, that sounds awesome. Those two things together. I don't like musicals, but I always want to see Book of Mormon. So hopefully it's in the theaters. I don't want to go watch it. Paw Patrol 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Mutant Mayhem sequel. Aang, The Last Airbender, with the voice cast featuring Eric Nam as Aang and Dave Bautista as the film's villain. So yeah, nothing sticks out to me as like a bad. I think this is a really good lineup of stuff here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I should have went as you were doing it, so I didn't go over everything you went. But the scary movie thing I think is interesting. I didn't know about them trying to get the old cast back. I will say, even when the old cast was there, I think it fell off terribly with the third one. So I don't know if they'd be able to bring it back or not. It'd be interesting to see. But and I don't even think it's an age thing because I think the other ones are still good. And I think the beginning, if I remember right, the beginning of 3 was really funny. Like the first scene, that's one with Shaq, right?
I have no idea.
I think so. And then after that, I thought it was just horrendous and pretty bad after that. And then I didn't see the later ones because it got too ridiculous.
Oh, number three's the Eminem parody. You didn't like that one?
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I should watch again, but I don't know if me I was at the age where I'm getting too old now and I was dumb or something. So I think the old ones still hold up, so I don't think that's the case. Um, I know we've talked about the Last Ronin before. I'm not gonna act like I know all about that, but I've heard about how dark Ninja Turtles can be and has been. So I think that sounds fucking awesome to get a rated R Ninja Turtles. I don't know how successful that'll be money wise, but I think that sounds very interesting. G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. Um, I don't want to spoil much. We'll see how that ends up being. Um, the Bee Gees biopic, I think, sounds super interesting. Ridley Scott done anything like that though? I thought that was the thing that caught my eye. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. Nothing sticking out, but I'll look at his films real quick. Um, I don't know about biopics, but he's definitely done non-sci-fi stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you watched Napoleon, right?
yeah, yeah. I knew he did non-sci-fi stuff. I just didn't know. I feel like that's a very different kind of movie. Doesn't mean it can't. I just
Oh,
don't.
here it is. Sorry, that's the one I was trying to find. House of Gucci.
That's something he's done.
Mm-hmm. Producer. I'm sorry. Let me switch to director here. Make sure he directed this. How do I switch this stuff? I want to know what he produced. IMDb. That's the most important part here. Why would that be the first option?
Right, because he
True. Director.
did.
Okay. I thought that was true. And I think he did one on the Boston Strangler too. So I think those will be. Oh yeah, was he American Gangster as well?
Oh, if he was, I didn't know that.
I think he was. Oh, and then his best movie, G.I. Jane, by far. Yeah, he directed American Gangster, which is a fantastic movie. So I think he'd do really good on it. I don't know much about the Bee Gees. Yeah, thank you. Just please open up. Just click so many buttons on my computer. Um, I don't know much about the Bee Gees, but I like their music.
Yeah,
Songs I have heard.
that's about how I am. I think the time period would be really interesting alone. Um,
And American Gangster, like there's a lot of movies here that were kind of filmed in 70s style.
yeah. Then all those I knew he did sci-fi stuff, but seems like his name's now, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
Um, is G.I. Jane really your favorite movie, or is that a joke?
that was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was smiling, but I was like, maybe I'm laughing. He's serious. Um,
All right, so now we are under a warning. Google says emergency alert extreme. Take shelter now.
weird, cause kind of a nice day out here, not that far away.
No.
Um, if you want to stop and then come back, we can.
Oh, I'm in the place
Or
I was. I'm in the
yeah,
basement already.
all right.
That's how much I care about this podcast, Casey. I'm risking my life out here.
The Naked Gun remake I thought was actually really weird. I feel like that's gonna be a giant bust, not just money wise, but maybe quality as well. Um, I have seen Naked Gun. I remember hating it. I was younger, so I don't think that's probably a fair judgment because I feel like the humor is so dry and probably went over my head. But I just don't know how well that's gonna land today. And if it's not that, then I don't think anybody that likes the old one is gonna be too impressed by the new one. I don't know
Yeah,
why use it at that point if it's a generic comedy. Um,
it's a thin line you have to walk with
yeah,
that one for sure.
uh-huh. The thing that definitely caught my eye the most was the South Park musical with music from Kendrick Lamar, especially because I read a different article that said they were like working hand in hand. It's not just like he's making music and sending it to him.
Oh
Um,
man,
and you said you hope it's in the
it's awesome.
theaters. I feel like it definitely would be because if they announced this at CinemaCon and it's a Broadway play, I feel like that'd be a bad place to announce that. So I think it's
Yeah,
just a regular movie. Maybe it's straight to
that's
Paramount
awesome.
Plus. Yeah, it sounds super interesting. I think it'd be more interesting with Paw Patrol 3 in there, but it still
I
sounds
just
good.
threw that in there.
um, the Ninja Turtles is a remake to the last one that came out that I thought it was a
The
fun
sequel.
movie. Yeah. Um, so that sounds interesting. I've never been a Last Airbender guy, so I can't do that. But yeah, I thought it was an impressive lineup.
Yeah. All right, our last article here. It's another movie from Gert Hermans from ScreenRant.com. Jackass 5 gets surprisingly promising update from Johnny Knoxville after previous comments. Johnny Knoxville is open to the idea of Jackass 5, but doesn't feel the urge to make it yet. Still jotting down ideas for the potential movie. If it gets greenlit, Knoxville has previously suggested leaning on younger cast members introduced in Forever to continue the franchise in a safe and fresh way. Passing the torch to new stars while still including the original cast members could keep Jackass alive for future generations. Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to do it. Um, yeah, I haven't seen Forever yet, but I know I've always since his like I don't know, what was it, 12 years ago or something, 11 years ago when Zach Cass was lighting himself or covering himself with fireworks on YouTube. Thought that guy was a perfect person to get. So they continue to find like talented people to do it, to continue it, and then also still keeping. I think this is a great way to continue it because you can't keep the original people forever. So um, I think that's awesome.
I didn't know you haven't seen Forever yet. Yeah, you should watch it.
Hmm.
There's some good shit in there. I will say, the new cast members I think do a good job. I think probably like a nostalgia blocker that I actually when I was watching I was like, man, they're definitely this is gonna be the new Jackass and all these guys are gonna fade out. And for me, I was like, I don't know if I'd actually like that. I get that they can't do it forever, but
Uh,
I feel like there's something about their not just them but their chemistry and everything I feel like would almost feel forced from a new cast. Um, but they did do a good job, so I don't know if that's really a fair criticism. Um, and it's interesting to see that he's wanting to be even that involved in it because that was the whole thing about Forever is that was their last one is like the actual cast, and it seemed like it would be just a new cast. I'm not making fun of you because I mess up names all the time. That's part of why you guys do the articles. But
uh huh.
that guy's name was Grant, and it was really funny because he said Gert.
Oh, that's awesome. I thought you were talking about Zach Ass. I was like, what? I was like, I messed his name up. How did I mess that up? It's literally just Zach. But oh, that's funny.
I scrolled back up. So what the fuck kind of name is that? And I was, wait.
That is the last of the news.
Yep. That was a lot of news. So I can only talk about it. So if we have to, you want to get into pickups?
Sure. I had mentioned at the beginning of the episode I had bought a lot of toys. I recently got into Motu Masters of the Universe, but they're doing wrestling figure. They do wrestling figures. Motu is like expanded out to like horror. Um, I think they're doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff now, but their wrestling figures are awesome. Um, Still picked up a few more Bendums, wrestling Bendums. Um, the uh, the mutants and zombie line are some of my favorite wrestling figures as well. So I picked up a few more of those. Then there's a toy line from when I was really little called Skeleton Warriors. I had my dad used to let me help him scratch off lottery tickets, and one time I think I scratched off like $40, which was crazy to me. So he let me go on a little spending spree at Big Lots, and either I had the original Skeleton Warriors that just had been sitting on the shelf for, gosh, 6, 7 years at Big Lots, or they at one point had another company use the same molds and remade the toys. Um, but that was like 2002, and I thought it was before 2002. So I'm not sure which versions of the toys I had as a kid.
Yeah.
The originals. So I picked a bunch of originals of those. There was a Kickstarter 10 years ago too to restart the line or remake the line, and the company went out of business. But they had produced a couple things for the Kickstarter. Essentially, the guy had traded in his Skeleton Warriors collection, and um, the the guy that owns Maxine's Bargain Box, he took him to a convention, and the leftovers from the convention, I bought a lot of those. But that is about it for the toys. Some NECA, because Walmart had them on sale. Um, but yeah, so it was this. This was at Buckeye Flea Market.
Dog.
This is that's right, dude. He runs a flea market. Um, this is Jack and Daxter collection on the PS3. Um, I bought a lot more 360 games just because the prices are starting to go up, and I've noticed. I think a lot of YouTubers, I swear, buy a bunch of 360 games and then just make videos to make the games go up in value or something. Because one of the guys I watch, he was posting videos about the 360 games are going up in value and the clickbait of, and it's too late to buy them. They're getting too expensive. And I was like, oh God. Um, so I picked up Naruto, The Broken Bond. I have no interest in Naruto, but it's a 360 game. So I was like, I have to buy it. And the Naruto, the anime games, as you know, they get expensive. Uh, Unfortunately, Buckeye still had pretty cheap prices. Then Crash, Mind Over Mutant. This has been on my games I want to buy list for a minute, so it's nice to pick it up. This one also as well has been on there. It's Where the Wild Things Are, 360
Yeah.
game.
You like that
Um,
movie? I know we talked
Never
about it.
seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hear good things.
Yeah. I feel like you would love it. I'm surprised I like it because it's one of those movies that makes me feel
Weird,
very,
right?
yeah, very weird. But for some reason, I like it.
Um, this has also been on my list for a minute. Overlord 2. I have the Wii exclusive and the PS3 exclusive, but I didn't have the original 2. So,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel Wheelman. The Walking Dead Survival Instincts. It's a great game that unfortunately I think just recently they took the servers off of is Rainbow Six Vegas. Another Naruto game, Naruto Rise of Ninja. Did they raise the price on this? I like how they have like 1,000 price tags on here, so it's always fun to peel back and see the history of it. 360 is picking up value, so it's very possible that No, it kind of looks like it went down. Okay. Um, Naruto Rise of the Ninja. That was all from Buckeye. So thank you to your dog.
He said you're welcome. I heard him upstairs.
The GameStop had a buy two pre-owned, get one free. Um, the stores are always so picked over and hard to find complete games, so thought I'd go in and take advantage of it. Man, those guys are getting so desperate. The workers, I feel so bad. They just want to like hit you with 1,000 like insurance on the games. You tell them no. It's like, this is only $1, sir. Like it's getting to the point of like almost like
Get out of
panhandling. I
business
get it.
before you can do it, but
Yeah, yeah. I get it because these managers, I'm sure, are getting hounded on calls every day to get their numbers up. And then because she's like, "Do you want insurance on this?" I was like, "No, no, thank you." She's like, "This one's only $1 for a year." I was like, "No, I'm okay." And then she like clicked on something. Yep, there it is. It's yelling at me, right? The computer just there's a pop up that yells at us that said I should have sold you the dollar thing. I was like, "Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want it."
like
And
that
then
South
my
Park
game,
episode with tips or the
yeah,
giving the money to the kids.
exactly, dude. And I felt bad for her. Even my friend Will was talking to her about his like she had started talking about Switch, and then I realized she didn't want to talk about Switch. She was just trying to get him to talk about games so she could find out what he could trade in. She was like, you could bring in that old Switch and we get you the OLED. It's good trade-in bonuses on. I was like, man, they're really. I also have vowed not to re-up my Game Informer because they're making me so mad with that. So I just ran out, and she was trying to get me to do that. And I heard Game Informer might have split from them, so I might just buy a subscription through just Game Informer if that's possible.
I was gonna ask you. I heard that on a podcast. I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, I guess they're not connected anymore. So I guess we don't get the Game Informer with our membership anymore.
Cool, that's fine with me. I'll just go to the because Game Informer or GameStop, the sneakiness of them switching
Uh
all
huh.
of everything to digital after you told them. Like I would
Yeah.
tell them like 3 times, like it's physical, right? And somehow it would always happen. Um, which I don't blame the workers. Clearly, that the higher ups were just
Yeah.
coming down on them hard. But yep. So for $20, 20-ish bucks, picked up Mortal Kombat 11, the Ultimate Edition. This comes with like Terminator and RoboCop. And Spawn has all 37 fighters. Uh, People seem to really like Mortal Kombat. My nephews play this one specifically, and I want to play some of the newer ones. Just try them out. And I figured for what is that, $8 or something, $9, and you get all the DLC. I'll give it a
Yeah.
go. This game I hear a lot about too. I wanted to try out. This might be on Game Pass. I don't remember, but cheap enough that I don't mind buying a physical. And this is one that's not a Xbox game, so it won't be there forever. Is Hades. I played this on Xbox One, but I have not played the 360 version. That's Resident Evil Revelations 2. I'm sorry, I have not played this one yet, but I had the Xbox One, but not the 360 version.
Yeah.
So I picked that up. Um, and then also this was at GameStop as well. I've been wanting the gun. It's the Firewall 0 Hour gun with game. It's already had the game, but I wanted the gun specifically for all the shooter games. And I figured new for $20, I would pay that probably just for the gun on eBay.
That was at GameStop.
Yep,
Cool.
somehow
Yeah.
it's been in a back room or something. And then this games were from who are these ones? Oh, this is Maxine's. Yeah, this is from Maxine's. A very minty, complete copy of L.A. Noir. It's a game I started but never finished back in the
They
day.
already have that, don't you?
No,
Oh, really?
no, I did not. But now you got me questioning it. I thought I checked, but
I just had it.
no, I did not. So I'm gonna look through here real quick just to make sure. No, I don't think I did. So happy to pick that up. This was a game I played on PS2, I believe. maybe the original Xbox, one or the other. But I always wanted to get it for achievements. Price is going up a little higher than I wanted to pay, but this is a good price for it. For $20, picked up the gun on 360.
That was
Which,
a launch game.
so I'm excited to check this out. X-Men Destinies, or Destiny.
Bungie crossover.
That's right, dude. And then Overlord 1. So now I have I have all 4 games for Overlord.
Have you played Overlord?
Yeah, I never beat one, but I played one back in the day.
Yeah, me either. I think they're really cool, but they have the same issue for that Pikmin did. They just become so overly complicated that I can't keep up with them.
Yeah. And then my favorite pickup is they had 3 copies of this. I should have been greedy and bought all 3 because for some reason it's wild to me that this game is as expensive as it is now. They had 3 copies, $25 each of Darkest of Days. But I figured I'd leave them there. Hopefully a collector buys them. This is like, let me confirm this before I lie to you guys here. Which also need to make sure this game plays. All of them are in good shape, but I'd be really sad if this one didn't. Let me go over to your eBay so I don't lie to you guys about how expensive this game's getting. Let me go to sold. Sold games. I don't know if you remember this game, Casey. This was like bargain at GameStop for a while. Like,
Yeah.
this was very much a budget title.
Yeah, it's real janky, right?
I don't know. I've never played it. The idea of it, like the premise of time traveling to all these war zones, always sounded so cool to me.
I can't remember if I played it.
I think Colin mentions it a lot, or he has. Just the weird premise of it. It's like Civil War, World War II, Roman Empire kind of thing. But I remember this game always being pretty cheap. It is now it is selling consistently for or a little over $100 on eBay. Disc only copies are selling for like 50. So I should have bought all 3 of his copies, but I'm hoping that a collector comes in there and gets excited like I did. But yeah, and this like price jump seems to just happen. Like I'm going back in the history. Like the most recent ones that are selling for that are within the last few days, whereas I need to look up and see why this has gone up so much. Not even April 10th they were selling for 60.
Huh.
So I don't. Maybe did they announce something? Is it backwards compatible? Is there
New expansion.
let's see what's going on here. Check the news if there's any. I know, like those YouTubers and stuff, they do discuss like the time to collect the. Now my computer's warning me about this tornado. Trying to see if there's any news on this stuff, but yeah, it does not look like it does not review well. But yeah, so that is all of my pickups, minus the toys, but I won't torture you guys too much with that. Hey.
Yeah, save that for Ryan. You should overload of it. I actually have a few.
Ooh.
These ones I ordered. I haven't gotten delivered yet, but the Xbox ornament was announced with the startup Xbox of the original one, the startup noise, and then it plays the Halo theme song. I'm definitely gonna have to get that when it comes out. So it made me reactionary buy some other ones. I already had the Super Nintendo one. I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite ornaments we have. But I bought the Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, and NES one. Well, they all
Nice.
also make startup sounds and music. So I just went for it because I knew it'd be one of those things that they might not be hard to get. They might be able to get them whenever. But I knew I wanted them, and I got them at a normal price. So I'd fucking hate if I didn't get them and then they were sold out or had to pay ridiculous amounts. So I thought better to get it over with now, especially because I know I'll be getting the Xbox One when it comes out.
Yeah. It looks like it's up for pre-order and ships on July 12th. It says.
Oh, really? When I looked, it just said coming soon. Is that from Hallmark or is that like on
Yep.
Amazon? Oh, that I
Yep.
ordered
Let's
it
add it to the cart.
yesterday. So I couldn't add to the cart yesterday, so I'll have to do that. I don't think it's gonna be hard to get, but again, I know I'm gonna get it, so no reason not to.
Yeah, it's like hit or miss with these orange because I've done it for
Yeah,
the last couple of years. Picked up a few. Either of these things go on sale like in January, and you're like, dang it,
yeah,
or you never see them again, and they're way too expensive on eBay.
yeah. And to me, even at full price, they're at the highest, they're like 20 or something like that. And I'd rather pay that than even if it ends up being $5 because it's on sale than the risk of missing it or paying way over $20. I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Um, and this is actually from a few, like a month ago now, but I didn't mention it, and it's a perfect time to mention it. You'll be really excited. The Torture's Poet Department vinyl, Taylor Swift's new album, which comes out Friday, so 2 days from now.
Oh wow.
You gonna be doing a watch, like a listening watch party or anything?
Yeah, dude.
If you are you gonna stream it?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! You want to do like a crossover?
Oh, I'm down. Just heads up, it does look like my internet's getting a little slower here, so
Oh no. Okay.
you're getting a little digital on there. If I go out, that's
Um,
what's happening here.
should I? Well, no, I don't need to stop the recording because even if it goes out, mine will still be here. Um, so that's exciting. We're 2 days away from the album coming out. I know Cody's doing a listening watch party. That should be cool.
Yeah, my
Um,
options are listen to that or go be in this tornado.
imagine being in a tornado while listening to that. That'd be dope.
It's the last things I hear.
The last two things are relative to what I've been playing, so we'll get into that. Um, bought the Queen expansion pack on
Oh,
Beat Saber. Been playing that, and then bought a single of Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. Did that in Beat Saber. It was pretty dope. Um,
that's perfect.
and then bought a physical version of Helldivers 2. Um, and played a few hours of it. It's definitely fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm gonna get hooked like you guys are. I'm surprised in general that game seems to be like one of the Fortnite games is like catching on like crazy. It might change for me, and hopefully it does, and I don't dislike it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like there's anything very unique about it, which is usually what makes these games stand
Really?
out and catch on. And at first, I hated the game, so it's grown since then because the tutorial I think does a good job at teaching the mechanics of the game, but
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't teach you anything about how the game actually works, about like finding stuff and what the goal of the game is. I feel like I would have benefited from having a mission with AI to teach you like to go to certain things and what you're doing. Um, and then the first game I did was with our friend Dave, and the game was totally breaking. And he's like, "Yeah, you died, but that happens all the time. I'll just call in a reinforcement." And it wouldn't work, so I was just stuck. I dropped in, I died, and then I wasn't allowed to come back in. And I didn't understand the game, but he explained it. We had full reinforcements. He's like, "Here, I'll kill myself, and then see if I can come back." And he came right back. So it was literally just my first game was glitched, and I couldn't come back in. I
That
was like,
sucks.
I fucking hate this. And but I played a few more hours since then, and it's fun. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing seems to really catch me, and it seems by nature pretty repetitive. So I don't know how many
Yeah.
times I could do it.
Yeah, like I think Helldivers is also something I've been playing, so I'll just remove that from my
Yeah.
list. But it reminds me of the Left 4 Dead days, like the physics and gameplay and the it is repetitive, but it doesn't bother me because I'm only playing like 2 or 3 boards or whatever the Left 4 Dead
Uh-huh.
thing we'd say. Um, but it's a I think the physics behind it, the audio, the lighting effects, the pure ridiculousness of the game. Like when I'm just standing next to somebody that calls in a robot and they're in this massive mech just shooting right next to me, and the recoil of the guns and the it's good stuff.
No, I could see that. Makes more sense. I thought you played it a lot more than that because I feel like some of our friends are playing it endlessly, and I just get one of those games that I could play like a couple hours at maximum. Now, but I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But that makes more sense like that. It's funny that the audio is one of the things you point out. I think the guns and all that sound good, but the fact that they have like 3 sayings that they all rotate through. Oh, how about another cup of liberty? Oh my god, if I hear that or democracy one more time, I'll fucking kill myself. I know it's corny, it's like supposed to be like that, it's intentional, but the fact there's so few of them, I'm like, God, I can't do this. Um, but it's been fun. Like, started out hating it, so it's already grown since then. So maybe it'll grow more. And I played with Dave and but I still haven't had a full team of people I know, and I'm sure probably more fun as well.
Yeah.
Change it some. Um, Played a good amount more of Princess Peach Showtime. I think I'm
Ooh.
on the last world of that. I'm not positive, but I am. Feel about the same as I did before. That still doesn't seem very difficult. And like I said, I think I'm near the end. So I think it's just not going to be very difficult overall. A lot of times Mario games start out very simplistic, and then by the end they're like disastrously hard. So I
Yeah.
thought this one might do that, but it appears it's just going to be a lot easier of a game, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think especially because it seems more kid oriented, and I think you already have really tough games like that, so it's better to have a variety of things. I think this game the challenge might be the collectible end of it, because even though I almost finished it, there's probably only 2 levels where I've gotten all the collectibles in, and there's 4 levels on each world. I think there's 5 worlds, so that tells you right there that I'm missing a shit ton of collectibles. So I think that might be where the difficult part comes in, collecting all the collectibles, which I don't know if I would do. I've been trying to get them as I go. I've gotten a decent amount, but I don't know if I would go back to it just to do that. In my head, I would say I would, and I want to be able to complete the game completely, but I say that a lot, and I don't go back. And it's even less reason to do it when Nintendo still doesn't have achievements of any kind. I feel like that's one of the
Yeah.
main driving points of collectibles, especially. Um, the only thing I would add is I usually play Switch on handheld. I've been trying to play more on the TV because that's how I prefer to play games, but Switch is just so easy to play handheld. And one thing I noticed with this game playing it docked is I think it shows through more that this game is not nearly as polished as a Mario, like a mainline big Nintendo game, which this is supposed to be one of those. But when you're using handheld, it looks pretty good. But when you put it docked, then that's where it kind of shows the textures are not very polished, and it kind of looks, I think, janky, a bit harsh. But I think even with Nintendo's graphic limitations, the art style is so good that something like Mario Odyssey, which is, I get probably it definitely is a way higher budget and probably more important to them. But that game's years old now, and I think it looks way better docked than this game does today. Um, so I feel like the game definitely had a different scale of budgeting, it seems, which is totally fine. I think makes sense. But when they advertise it as like a mainline Nintendo game, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear it's not that. It's like should have been like almost. No one has said this, but I feel like it should have been a cheaper game for what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, no, I think that would totally be fair because it is fun, and I said especially for who they probably designed it for, I think it'd be absolutely perfect. Yeah, I think that would be probably a better move there. I think it would make those things a little easier to swallow. Um, Played some of the finals. Were you with us that night when they?
Yeah, I played a little bit with you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it set up the season 2. I think there's some cool game modes they added and some changes they made that are very positive. And don't play that game often, but when I do, I always have fun with it. Been playing some more Halo Infinite on the operation of this season. about halfway through, and there's like 12 days left. Played a little more Mario Wonder with Dave. We're working our way through that. Um, that's an example of a Mario game that definitely scales and gets harder as it goes. There's some levels that I just want to fucking blow my brains out, and there's one that Dave finished, and I couldn't even get past the first point, and we were playing co-op, and he was getting pissed too. Though it wasn't like it was easy for him. And I looked up a YouTube tutorial. Said, "You want to hear the first comment?" Yeah, sure. And guy said, "If I can't make this jump one more time, I'm literally gonna blow my brains out." And then almost every comment was just talking about how this level wants to make them do terrible things. That's probably not a great sign, especially it's a it's a very funny thing because Mario Wonder is so cute and like uplifting, and then there's this like underlining difficulty in some of the levels that are the polar opposite of that. Um, with the VR, I should mention the Beat Saber. I finally
Yeah.
started Trover Saves the Universe, Squanch Games VR game, Rick and Morty. Playing it with Danielle, so probably be something that takes a long time to beat. Play games all the time. But I'm sad I didn't play this sooner. This seems like so far we're early. But I think one of the most interesting VR games I've ever played. And like their other games, genuinely funny, which I think is something games. I think it's one of the hardest things to do in games. Have a game that's truly intentionally funny.
Yeah.
I think all their games have done that, and this seems like it's nailing that so far. But also seems very creative and fun, not just funny. Uh, and the last thing I've been playing and I finished was Tree Pang 2, which is something we talked about here a couple times. Fear inspired game. Uh, it's interesting. It's definitely fun. I think worth checking out. And you could check it out for free, Cody, because I bought digital. You
Oh
can
wow.
play it.
Okay.
Um, but it's a bummer in some ways. I think it was only $30, so talk about Peach that makes some of the stuff a little easier. Um, I think it nails fear in some aspects. Like it feels super heavy. It's super fast paced. It's over the top action, which I think is all definitely fear and feels really good. I will say the vibration on it is definitely a bit too much. It's supposed to feel heavy, but it's a little ridiculous. I turned the vibration down, which I've only done that in one game ever, and that was NHL on PlayStation. I talked about on here. Maybe I'm just getting sensitive. I'm getting old and getting sensitive vibration, but those are the only two games I've ever done it on, so I don't think so. But even after turning down the vibration, the game still feels super heavy and um, like I think fear should. But I think, unfortunately, kind of like we talked about Dead Space earlier, I feel like it pulls more from Fear 2 and 3, which those games, exactly like Dead Space, I think are objectively better, like mechanics and shooting and everything. But I think they became way more about the action than Fear 1 was with the horror and the like psycho- psychological horror, I would say. And there's bits of that in this game, but definitely seems more, like I said, the later Fear games, which is disappointing to me. Fear 1, I think, is fucking incredible. I think those later games are a lot of fun, but lose a lot of the magic that the first game had. And I definitely don't blame them, especially because it's a smaller team with this game, but I really wish there was multiplayer in it because it feels the old school. There's not 1,000 upgrades, there's not loadouts, there's not all this shit. And
Yeah.
but the pure shooting mechanics and how it feels is so good. It would have been really cool to get like a throwback multiplayer, even if it only lasted like a few months. And that's probably the maximum it would have lasted. So that's why I get business wise why they wouldn't do it. But it would have been cool to have that. There's also some weird choices in there. Like there's a hub world, which I think is the last thing a game like this would use.
Yeah.
I will, to be fair, it's very minimal. It's not excessive or anything. But you go there to pick your missions, and then you have to run outside and take a ship instead of just being a linear thing. And the safe house, you can also like change your outfits, do different dumb things, and there's also an area where you can pick like a horde mode and a time based thing. So it always seems like there's some content there, but I just feel like it's very unnecessary to have um, this hub world. And then you have to go to a map to pick your level, and then you pick it, and then like I said, you run outside to the helicopter and take it to your mission, which I would think that would be because they're trying to hide load times, but it still loads after that, so I don't think that's it. They just have a hub world in there for some reason, um, which would make sense because I think the horde mode and that kind of stuff is a cool addition to have in there. But I think that it becomes less cool when there's, I think, only 5 actual story missions, and then there's 7 side missions, which that wouldn't be too bad. But the side missions are literally just like a horde mode levels. There's no story in it, and I feel like it's just kind of like filler content. That even the game's very short, even with that. But I think the game would have been better just to not have those modes in it and be even shorter, and just use, if you're going to have that dumb hub world with those options in there, have that be the way to do the horde mode, and don't force levels in there just to have more missions, and they're really just glorified horde mode levels.
Yeah.
But I guess it might be a bit harsh because the game's such a small team and it was a budget game. I did also have, which was very frustrating, the game crashed 3 different times. I don't know if this is on the game's fault or the Microsoft's end, because it kept saying, give me a notification that I didn't own the game, and then I couldn't go back into the game. And 2 of the times I was at the end of a mission, so I had to literally redo the whole mission. And that's my least favorite thing in games. So I think that also kind of dampered and made it a little bit of unfair judgment. But like I said, I also don't know if that's the game's fault or not.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, let me know what you think. I think you'll like it a lot. Maybe be a little more positive than me, and you might not have those issues that, like I said, I don't know if that's necessarily the game or not.
Yeah.
Definitely heighten it. But that's all I've been playing. What about you?
So we already talked about Helldivers, but I'm playing Power World. I just beat the first gym leader. Um, I don't know. I'm having tons of fun with it. Running around the Minecraft aspect of it, plus a Pokemon game with it. With that grinding element of it has been a lot of fun just to pick up and play and run around, have podcasts playing in the background, or been listening to a lot of older Howard Stern episodes while I play it. I'm just running into an issue where this could be my laptop. I don't know what it is, but it will just turn my laptop. I think it's too hot and just turns off. It totally powers down. Um, and then so I was like, well, then if it's giving me this much problem on my computer, I'm just gonna go play on Xbox. Uh, the game's almost unplayable on Xbox. There's a
Really?
huge drop in graphics, um, and for some reason, this could be just a me thing or something I'm doing wrong. I can't use the map.
Huh.
Like it's the inputs are really weird on Xbox. Like the Xbox controller is like double clicking stuff, and it'll work totally fine in menus, and I get in the game, and I can't click on anything in the map. It bounces around. Then I can't, like, you had to press the X to hold to get into certain things, and I can't do that on the Xbox version. It could be something I'm doing wrong. The controller needs updated. I don't know what the issue is, but I wasn't having that problem anywhere else except for in Power Worlds. So I don't know if it's broken or what's going on, but the I get it's kind of in alpha or beta or whatever they call this, so it's gonna have problems. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm
Do you
gonna try to get
think?
all the achievements for it.
Okay.
Sounds pretty doable because it's mostly just beating the gym leaders.
Do you think you were spoiled by playing on PC? Because I feel like it's been one of the most popular games on Xbox, and I maybe those complaints are there, but I just hear people talking about how good it is. I think if you only played on Xbox, you wouldn't feel that way.
Oh no, it's the not being able to use the map and
Yeah.
quick travel. Yeah, but yeah, I'd been fine. The graphics parts, I'm not a big graphics guy. Um, but yeah, Must be a pretty bad because my computer will just get so hot it just turns off. Could be just because I have a tiny laptop, gaming laptop, where the problem comes from. Um, I don't know. I want to try it again on Xbox and see if I have the same problems.
Gotcha. That's all for you.
That is it.
What have you been watching?
Well, to get ready for the comedy show, I watched Freddy Got Fingered. Uh, yeah, it was. Uh, I I had to stop and think. I was like, did I ever sit down and watch this all the way through? I just remember it really annoying my dad. My dad was not a fan of this movie.
Just fitting if you know the movie.
Yeah, he's like, it's just so dumb. Which I mean, it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty good, man. I enjoyed it. It was and especially watching it right before going to see him. Um, and then I watched the Fallout show over at your house, which I guess I'll get into how I feel about that. It's really it's a good show. I like it. Um, there is a weird thing they're doing with humor, which the original Fallout's had that weird, odd humor, but it's awkwardly placed. Like it's 1 minute it's a drama and the next minute's a comedy.
Yeah.
The gore is good. I was kind of worried they wouldn't have the gore. Um, there's a few things like Fallout shelters connected, which was weird to me.
Yeah.
It would make sense if they were like hundreds of miles in between each other, but why you would have four shelters connected, I don't understand. Unless it's just for story elements, but it just doesn't make sense in the world why you would have them all connected and then be walkable. Um, I don't know. I think it is cool because I never thought of it. They talk about in the show. This is not a spoiler. It happens right at the beginning. How the overseers choose the people who get married in between groups, and I guess I never thought about it. Yeah, you'd have like crazy inbreeding if you weren't
Oh yeah.
paying attention.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that element of it was cool, but I wish it would have been more like it shouldn't have been walkable in between the two. And what happens story wise with having the Fallout, it would have made way more sense. Because there is something that happens when they meet this other group that just doesn't make any sense. You're saying that these groups get together. This might be a little bit of a spoiler. You might have to skip ahead if you haven't seen the show. But they're saying these shelters are connected with tunnels, walkable tunnels. Like it felt like a block or two. They come into the shelter with the main character, and nobody recognizes. Like no one goes, "Oh, that's not the overseer. We know the overseer." So I wish they would have said like, "Oh yeah, we meet up, but they come from far away," or something like that. Shouldn't have been walkable. Um, and there's just like a lot of the goofiness. I think fits really well. Um, I was getting a little concerned when they made what was his name, Maximus, a black guy, because he's in Fallout 4 and he's a white guy, I believe, is how the story goes. So I got really afraid that it was just once again diversity for diversity's sake, not um, because hey, this guy's a good actor, that's why we want him here. It's oh, we have to check a box, um, which I don't think they did. I think the guy's doing great. I am kind of worried that they're going to do the Star Wars thing where you have the female lead, which would be Rey, um, just be like a give me 1 second. Be right back.
We watched the first 3 episodes. Everybody knows we haven't seen anything past that. We did 3 last week, 3 this week, and 2 last
I'm
week.
back. Cat was
Finally,
trying to rob me over there.
background. I was just saying how we only watched the first 3 episodes so far.
Yeah. Yeah, only the first 3 episodes. But I was getting concerned that the main character would be like Ray, where it's this Mary Sue character. And then they have this cool element, which is the Brotherhood of Steel. And I thought in the original, this new Star Wars movies, the First Order was very interesting. And instead of giving the troopers' side of the story, they quickly turn Finn into a good guy and immediately join the resistance. So I was kind of afraid that the Brotherhood of Steel was gonna happen. That this essentially this Finn, he even looks like Finn, was just gonna join the girl and be like, oh, the Brotherhood of Steel is bad. I don't like how they're portraying the Brotherhood of Steel. I think they're making them too goofy and funny. Whereas in the game series, from what I've seen, that goofiness is not there. It's such a very cool group of people that are very serious and militaristic and have a purpose. And there's no goofiness going on. And I don't like Rappaport, Michael Rappaport, and he
Yeah.
plays the Knights, which they're introduced, and it's so cool how they're introduced, and then they immediately just do some goofy stuff with him that like the Knight when he's fighting the bear and stuff. It's just so goofy, it makes no sense. Um, and and then I mean, once again, there's maybe some spoilers. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Like when he just easily shoots the bear, but this Knight is having a problem fighting him with the power suit armor. Um, I don't know. I wish that it just had been more serious with the Brotherhood of Steel. I wish the goofiness would have stayed with the girl's storyline, and then him like slowly learning the knight's armor and stuff. But I think the best part of the show is the ghoul. I forget his name. The guy's such a great actor. He's played in a lot of stuff. His story is really good. If it was just him, I would say this would be up there with some of my favorite shows ever. But the goofiness, which Fallout has, I understand there's a time and a place, just not all the time. And the stuff like the Brotherhood of Steel should be a little bit more serious than what it is. Um, like I don't know. Then the little bit we've seen of the Enclave, I think they've done really well with, which we haven't seen much, but just how they have an objective, which is to reestablish or to keep the American government going, but also be incredibly evil at the same time. Um, the music's good. But yeah, that's how I feel about the show so far.
Yeah, I guess I'll talk about here. Diverse. I agree with a lot of things you're saying. Overall, I do really like it. I don't. A lot of people are saying it's the best video game adaptation ever, and a lot of people are saying, well, obviously it would be better than The Last of Us. I think quality-wise, I think The Last of Us is on a whole other scale, and I think this show's good. I'm surprised if people are thinking that, but even if you're just talking about what the game should be like represented in a show, um, I don't know. This one's a weird one for me because I can't point to things that they're doing wrong for the most part of not feeling like the game. Like all the aspects from the games that should make it feel like it are in there. But I don't know if you feel this way at all. Just it's very good, but it doesn't really feel like the games to me for some reason. And like I said, I most of the aspects that should be in the game are in there, but just feels like a really good post-apocalyptic show. It doesn't feel like Fallout to me. I keep having to like remind myself it's a Fallout show, but I said it's not really a knock against it because like the Halo show, even though I like it, there's so many things in there that I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And this isn't Halo. But this show doesn't really have that for the most part, but it just doesn't feel like it to me for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. I don't know what's missing. I don't know if it's just because a lot of Fallout comes from the exploration and wandering around, and you can't really do that in a show. It's gonna be boring. So maybe that's it. That's the only thing I could really think of.
Mhm.
Um, but as far as quality and like particular things, yeah, I think I talked about it before the show came out. My worry that in Fallout it is very goofy, even though it's serious, and there's humor that comes from that, and humor that comes from people that have been left in the wild and the crazy things that go on. But I think that humor comes naturally from an insane situation. That I think some of it makes sense in the show, but I feel like my worry is that they were going to top with it, and I think they definitely do. And that was one of my biggest complaints is, yeah, the Brotherhood of Steel. I played 3 a crazy amount, played all the expansions. I played New Vegas a bit, 4 a bit, but those are 2 games I need to go back to. Difference with 4 earlier. So I didn't know if maybe the Brotherhood of Steel was, for one, different than I remember because it's been a long time since I played 3, but I thought they were serious and like badass. And then also I haven't played the other 2 very much. So I didn't know if maybe they changed them so I couldn't judge fairly. But you saying that makes me feel like I probably was thinking correctly that, yeah, they're way too goofy. And I think the biggest thing that they keep doing as a running joke that is really fucking weird is they run away and say fuck, 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 fuck. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This is so, why is this a running joke? Um, and I told you the weird part is I like Marvel, I am higher on it than you. But even saying that, their humor goes way too far, and we talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy effect, which that's why Guardians of the Galaxy works so well. But then everything tried to be like that, and it's forced.
Yeah.
Um, but even with me liking Marvel stuff for the most part, I that humor is forced and not well done. It's just not even funny. I think a lot of the stuff in Fallout is actually genuinely funny, but I still, if you're trying to make it like the games, I don't think that it fits the games for what you're doing. So it's a weird thing that I'm like kind of laughing, but I'm also kind of annoyed because I feel like just because it's funny humor doesn't mean it should be here. Um, but yeah, like I said, we've only seen the first 3 episodes. We're doing not a weekly thing. We're watching 3, 3, and then 2.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we'll actually watch 3 more, and maybe I'll have a better understanding or better feeling of what people are talking about. But to me, I feel like it's on a whole different, as far as quality, a whole different scale than The Last of Us, and probably people putting it that high. But definitely an entertaining, fun show. Just some complaints I have, like the chicken fucking thing. That that part did kind of fit Fallout because I feel like that fits like the wasteland of like the insane things that would happen. But it was just delivered weird in that show and was funny. But I was like, this is, I don't know, something about this just seems off, even though I feel like it is right. And the music, that was something I worried about, and I was wrong. The music is in there, and I think it's great. I think that's maybe another thing that makes it not feel like Fallout. Not that the music's there, but in the game you use it because you're just alone in the world, and it's like something to listen to. And I think that might be hard to do in a show, and can't really do it. So I think they kind of have to naturally do it how shows would, like at a certain moment of the show. I feel like that maybe also makes it not feel like Fallout because that's not really how it is in the games. But I get that might be hard to translate to a show.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. I'm liking enough to finish it.
Yeah. You been watching anything else?
Nope, that is it, my good sir.
Uh, we finished Quiet on Set. Um, feel about the same way I did. I don't think you were on here, but I talked about that. I feel like Dan Schneider gets all the attention, and it was so over the top that I was like, man, this guy. I won't lie. I just saw it all the time that I thought he definitely like sexually assaulted the kids and did like all kinds of crazy stuff. And he's definitely at the minimum seems like a douchebag and maybe a weirdo, but there's literal rapists on those shows that I feel like people don't even know the names of and just focus on him. And I feel like that's really weird to take the attention off of people that were literally raping kids and put it on a guy that, because he's a douchebag and probably a weirdo, but
Yeah.
didn't do anything aside from that. And seems like you're kind of lessening the fact that a guy that literally raped kids. And it was also weird. I'm sure you've heard about it. You said you're not that interested, but it's also weird to say spoilers when you're talking about kids that were raped. And I think that's also a whole weird thing of this is that it was like a 5-part thing that they had like cliffhangers. I'm like, this whole thing seems weird. It seems like it should be like an hour and a half documentary, not cliffhangers for which kid got raped. Tune in next week. That whole thing seemed odd to me. But Drake Bell was one of them, which, like I said, that's a spoiler, which shouldn't be a spoiler, but something you probably heard anyways. And that whole thing seemed weird as well because I'd have to look into it more, but I feel like years ago he was accused of doing something with a minor, and so this seems weird that we're putting a spotlight. Yes, I know the argument would probably be that that's the issue when this kind of stuff happens, that people go on to do it themselves, which I think is obviously true. I think that's been shown throughout history. That kind of stuff tends to happen. But I feel like you could use that excuse for the Dan Schneider or anybody else. I feel like it can only go so far. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was interesting to watch, but I think a bit much for what it was.
Yeah.
I watched a show that Ryan was recommending called The Three Body Problems. You said you were interested in it. Talked about it. This show is highly confusing, and I don't think I did myself a favor. I was on my phone some of the time, so I think I'm just going to restart it. I don't know if I even like it or not. It's interesting, but I think the fact that it's very confusing and I was kind of in and out, I don't feel like I really give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
So I might watch it again. He did leave out the fact that they talked about the Ohio State University on there, and you might know this because you're a lot more interested. They talked about the WOW signal. Have you heard of that?
No.
I didn't either. I thought maybe it was made up in the show, Ohio, but I googled the WOW signal, and it was a radio signal that they picked up interference August 15th, 1977.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you do know about it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That alien podcast that I watched, I think, did something on this.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. State fan. I never heard about that and heard about from a show. Conveniently left out by a Michigan fan. It's a very key part in the show, from what I could pull from it. Um, and we like I said, I think you should leave kind of just as a rotating show here now. Watch some episodes in that again. We've finished it quite a long time ago. We just rewatch it here and there. Fucking love it. Continuing on, I don't know if I talked about it. Started a while ago. Invincible is Robert Kirkman's animated superhero show, but it's like really inappropriate. Guy made The Walking Dead, but pretty good. I've seen a few episodes so far, so can't fully judge it so far. Also getting a live action version and a AAA games being made of it. Be cool to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. So this was one of his comics or something?
Yeah, I never read the books, but I guess they were really popular, and then Amazon picked up as a animated show a couple years ago.
I
One
remember
season
seeing
so
like
far.
the main character before, but I didn't know
Yeah,
what this was or that it was gory or whatever.
yeah. Some people said you love the boys and you have to watch this. I think he's very tame compared to the boys, but definitely is more graphic than a regular superhero show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It's from Image Comics.
Yeah. I think it could make, at least from what I've seen, a very cool game if they do it right. Which, if it's a AAA developer, you think that they should be doing it right in theory.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking like they do some cool stuff with Spawn or something, or
Oh yeah, awesome.
it's cool. I'll have to check this out, man.
Yeah, let me know if you do what you think. I definitely at least watch a couple episodes because I think they intentionally, without spoiling too much, I feel like they try and trick you into thinking it's like a normal superhero show. So you might, oh god, this is just like Marvel, and turn it off if you don't keep watching. Um, and I actually thought I finished it. Had some episodes left. Only Murders in the Building, Hulu show. So watch some more of that. I have a couple left in the season.
Uh, Only Murders?
Yeah. Lena Gomez is in it, but it's
Yeah, that's this one. Yeah, Renee watches this.
oh really?
Yeah, this did not look good when I
Yeah, I don't think you
walked
would
by
like
and
it.
see bits and pieces.
I think the mystery part's the most interesting about it, but I like Selena Gomez and I like looking at her. I don't like hearing her. I don't know if you walked past this show, but something happened with her voice.
Really?
She's starting. I think it's an actual like disease or something because it doesn't sound right. She's starting to sound
Uh,
like the fucking
Miley
girl.
Cyrus?
No, that terrible. I think you said you like it. That terrible old sitcom in New York. That girl, the nanny. Is that what
Fran
it?
Drescher?
Yeah. I'm like, I can't do this. Uh,
Ah!
but I love Steve Martin. He's on there, and I almost said Pauly Shore. Martin Short is on there. And I like him a lot. I don't think. I think they're both very likable in the show. I don't think it shows through how good of comedians they are. I don't think it's very funny. I think it sucks. I feel like having those guys and not having it be a very funny show, the bit of a loss. But
Yeah.
I do enjoy it, and been watching a lot of sports. But like I said, I'll get into that more on another podcast. Been reading or listening to any books?
No. Mm-mm. Yeah, all that stuff kind of took a back seat to listen to a lot of like old Howard Stern episodes for some reason.
Are you trying to go by like each episode, or are you just picking here?
Picking here and there. There's like some like I try to listen. I'm starting to realize like I'm less of a Howard Stern fan and more of a Artie Lang fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I always liked Artie Lang, but I didn't realize how much of that show. The reason I liked that show was because of him. Or so if Artie's not on there, it's hard for me to listen to. It has to be a celebrity I like, or Whack Pack, or a comedian that I like. Not like discrediting Howard Stern. Like the dude is, the master of radio. Uh, he was just a very good collector of people,
Yeah,
and he could bring like his interview styles and stuff were great. And I know it's like a thing to hate on him now. I haven't listened to the show in forever, but I mean the dude's a lot older. He can't be having like, you know, the climate has changed. You can't be having women
yeah,
ride Sibians and um, he's got daughters, so I'm sure he's like
yeah,
realizing like his daughters are older than the girls he'd be having on there. Like, so I get it. I've
yeah.
like bounced around my head. It's just like really hard to cancel a Sirius subscription. You have to like it's like a whole process. So I don't even want to like go in that rabbit hole. I wish I could just listen to Sirius for a month and see like how the new shows are, how they compare.
So you don't
Um,
have it, you mean?
no.
Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah. I mean, if I were you, if you're interested in it, I would wait for one of their crazy deals and do it, and then
Yeah.
every time they skyrocket the price, you just tell them you're going to cancel it, and then they give you the price eventually again.
Yeah. Did I
I've
ever
had,
tell you about my dad used to do that?
yeah, I think so. I think I told you I did that. Yeah, there's no fucking way I would keep it at the price I try and do it.
They used back in the day. They used to have a lifetime subscription.
Oh, really?
I wish we'd have bought that.
Yeah.
Uh, my dad one time bought I think it was one of the Stilettos, which was really ahead of its time. Was a portable Sirius XM player. Your headphones were the antenna. It was really weird, but it's really cool. Um, and that somebody had left. It was either the Stiletto or maybe he had bought because he'd buy them anytime he saw a player. He'd buy them at like Goodwill and stuff. So he had found one at one point that had someone's lifetime subscription on it.
Hmm.
But I think the device ended up not working anymore or something. But yeah, that was Spotify slapped them right in the face, man.
Yeah.
Geez, I wish there was some way to like listen to the new Howard Stern shows without signing up to see how they compare. Because my dad's listened for a long time. He's a big fan, and my dad said they're awful. So I want to go get my own opinion on it.
Yeah, I'd let you use my account, but I think it's all. I mean, I have the app and I use it in my car, but I think it's very dependent on like where you are. It won't let you do it and like with
Yeah.
that. So I don't think.
Oh,
There's
you're fine. You're good.
also just started. Sounds like I don't have a window to see, but sounds like it just started pouring and or hailing here. So it sounds like we're starting to get it. So I say it was weird, kind of sunny and nice out from camera. So we're getting that now. Yeah, Spotify definitely took that over for me. If it was just for music, I wouldn't even have Sirius. I mean, it's cool having like the Beatles channels and like channels that I can just switch to, especially if I'm not getting good reception or phone's dead or whatever. But the reason I use it and why key for me, especially at a cheap price, is I can listen to every Broncos game on there, which is
Oh,
well, you can listen to every sports game. They have all have every they have every league, well, the top leagues at least, and then every team station, and I can do it in my car or my phone. And especially key here. I mean, it's not as great a deal if you're a Brown or Bengals fan because you can listen to those on the radio, but here obviously I'm kind of screwed, so it's pretty dope being able to listen to every Broncos game.
well, they're 3 months for $1 right
Yeah,
now,
there you go.
so
I
maybe
need
I
my
could
dollar.
pop on there.
Yeah, I need my dollar. Um, but I guess for me it's even cool with the Reds because the Reds use AM stations here and they're fucking terrible. So I usually use the XM channel if I can just switch to AM now because it comes in crystal clear, even if it's like a little delayed or whatever. I'd way rather have that than AM stations that are like crackling and hear that better than them talking.
Yeah.
Pretty key for sports stuff. The only thing I've been listening to was, or I'm still listening to it, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Really liking that. Obviously, I've seen the movie. I never read the books, and they're pretty long, so listening would be a good way of doing it.
I was just talking to somebody about this the other day because I like the movies, and he's like, he, either he'd recommended reading the books or he's like, yes, I read the books. But so that is the audiobook good?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember the guy's name, but I think he does a really good job at. Um, there's so many different characters, so you can't have a voice for all of them. So you don't like go over the top like the guy does the Harry Potter ones does really well at like changing voices and actually being characters. This guy doesn't do that, but he changes the voices enough where you can tell like who it's supposed to be, which I think can be an
Yeah.
issue with these kind of books. Like, I don't even know who's talking right now. But yeah, I think, and then the content also good. I'm just adding like the books. I feel like everybody knows those seem to be very quality. So I feel like it's more about how it's read, and yeah, he seems to do a really good job with it.
Nice.
But that's all I got. You have anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Nope, that is it.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, see you next episode. I don't know if it'll be next week or not. It's our 100th episode. I have a few ideas of what we might do, but trying to figure that out. Oh shit! And in between that, there should be an episode of Pigskin Over Pizza.
Yeah, I'm
As well.
excited to listen to that.
Oh, let me know what you think, even if it's not like feedback on the show. You can just tell me personally if you wanted.
Sounds good.
I want to know if we're sucking ass or not.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
That is it.
All right. Bye.
Bye.